Hello you plonkers and welcome back today to another video on the Drewzy channel. It's Drewzy United time, baby. What I've decided I'm going to do each week in these videos is not just talk about Manchester United. I'm going to talk about all the big games that happened in the previous weekend in the Premier League, preview the games that are coming up this weekend in the Premier League, and also go through the fantasy Premier League, Drewzy's Fantasy League on the Premier League website or app, which you guys can join. There's currently 48 people in it, so thank you to everyone who has joined. We're going to start off the video by looking at my fantasy team, and we're going to look at who else is in the league, who is leading it as well. Let's get into it. So I'm currently sitting in 9th place out of 48, which isn't too bad. You know, I'll take that. And I got 72 points last game week. So Edison kept a clean sheet. Happy days. Diaz at the back got 11 points. Bloody outrageous. Alexander-Arnold as well. Massive. Wan-Bissaka, United conceded against Southampton, so we didn't get the clean sheet. Fernandez, no goals, no assists. Pretty average game from Bruno. Only got 2 points, and I captained him, so he only got 1 point for that game. Benrahma from West Ham. I saw him banging in goals left, right and centre in the pre-season. I know he's going to be a big part of West Ham's side this year, so I chucked him in. He delivered. He got 12 points. Grealish got his first goal for Man City against Norwich, so he got 8. Maddison with a slow start to their season, only 2 points. Ings scored. Calvert-Lewin scored as well, so they've got 8 and 7. And St. Maximin did not get a goal. So 72 overall, not bad considering my captain only got 2 points. The only change I have made going into the next game week is I've subbed out Aaron Wan-Bissaka and I've put in Reece James off Chelsea, just because I've seen how good he has been this season already. Against Arsenal, he was tearing up that right-hand side. Kieran Tierney looked like a bloody plonker. So I've subbed in James. I think he can get quite a few goals and assists, which Aaron Wan-Bissaka cannot do. The winner of the week in the fantasy was Lockie's XI, Lockie Core. He got 90 points, so very good, very well done. He had Sanchez in goal, and he has a couple of Scousers at the back. Mikas. Yep, we'll go with that. Alexander-Arnold and Diaz, so we had a similar back two there with me. Shaw didn't keep clean sheet. Bruno only 1 point as well. Grealish I also had. Salah, captain, didn't score. Rafinha, 7 points. That's a good signing there. Antonio, who broke West Ham's all-time goal scorer record on the weekend, and Danny Ings as well. So good job, Lockie. Alrighty, so let's get into the games. United took on Southampton down at St. Mary's, and I didn't have a good feeling about this game as soon as Man United walked out onto the pitch, given that they are wearing blue kits with yellow shorts. They looked absolutely disgusting. You know, United, they're red, white and black for me. White away kit, black alternate kit. You can't be wearing blue and yellow. I'm not a fan of it at all. Anyway, Southampton got the first goal via a deflection of Fred. Of course it was Fred that just tucked in to the bottom corner. And we had Martial up top, and I've been a big fan of Martial over the years, ever since he debuted and scored that goal against Liverpool. The next week he went down to Southampton and got a brace, and I thought this kid was going to be special. A couple years ago he was our top scorer, but in the last 12 months he just hasn't been able to click. Even with Bruno behind him, you'd think such a creative player behind Martial would be able to feed him through behind the last line of defence, but it just doesn't work out for him at United at the moment for Martial. He got subbed off early, and Sancho came on. There's a big season coming up for Martial. I think if he can't get into form, he might be getting transferred at the end of the season, to be honest. Sancho come on. Didn't really get on the ball as much as I would have liked him to see, and he played quite passive as well. He'd get the ball, do a couple step overs, then pass it back to the fullback. So I just want to see Sancho take on the game a little bit more. We did get a goal finally through Mason Greenwood, a pass from Bruno. I think it might have just deflected off Pogba for his 5th assist of the season if you count it, and then Greenwood just tucks it in past the keeper. It just dribbles across the line, and the game ended 1-1. Poor ball movement up the pitch. Fred and Matic in the midfield. Two defensive midfielders. Matic, who is... I'm not huge on Matic anymore. His first season he was good, but he hasn't really proven much since, and everyone's crying out for a new CDM, and Ruben Neves or a Sal Niguez from Atletico Madrid. Matic was just so slow. Fred, just sloppy passing all day long. Same from Matic, and there was times where the ball was fed into Matic's feet, and if it was like a metre off, he was just so slow. He's got no agility to get there, the old fella. I saw a stat on the weekend, and it said like Fred and Matic gave the ball away about 30 times between them or something like that. You can't be doing that, man. Like, We need to release these attackers into space. And when you're just turning over the ball, you're just halting those attacks. You're not letting the attackers get forward. Very frustrating game. Bruno couldn't get into a rhythm. I think we were quite flustered by the referee, who wasn't giving us many decisions in our favour. The one that led to the goal probably was a foul on Bruno as well. And then after that, it was just a bit flat, to be honest. We're really missing Edison Cavani up top as well. I think the runs that he makes just draws the defence out, creates space behind the striker, which like Bruno can run into or whatever. But yeah, we need Cavani back, I believe. Martial just isn't cutting it at the moment. Credit to Southampton. They looked quite good. That young right back who they got from Chelsea, Livramento, he looks very good for Southampton. He'll be a very good player for a long time in the Premier League, I believe. Yeah, credit to Southampton. A big point for them, given that they have been tipped to go down by many this season. That puts United in 6th on the table with a win and a draw. I watched the Liverpool game, Liverpool versus Burnley. They won 2-0 with Diogo Jota and Sadio Mane scoring for them. And with Van Dijk at the back, they just look like the old Liverpool, the Liverpool of 2019, 2018. Just dominated Burnley. They controlled the ball for the whole game. Harvey Elliott, I thought, looked really lively as well in there for him, so he could almost be like a new signing if he can get consistent football at Anfield. It wasn't anything too extravagant from the Liverpudlians, but they just dictated the tempo of the game the whole time. Burnley were chasing us the whole game. They were just knocking it around the back, having a good time, Liverpool. So they're looking really good again as well. And Man City get their first win of the season against Norwich, with Jack Grealish scoring, of course, on his home debut. Goal off his knee. It was pretty crummy. Aymeric Laporte with a good finish. Sterling come on, and Riyad Mahrez scored the 5th for the Sky Blues. God, City look good. They just look good, don't they? Just setting up goals, one-touch football. 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass, tap in. It's unreal. That Sterling goal was just like, they just cut open defences with ease. It's ridiculous how good they are. So they've got their first win of the season, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty more. And at the Emirates, Arsenal hosted Chelsea. Chelsea, obviously, we're always going to win this game. People have been saying Arsenal usually get up against Chelsea. Not anymore, you don't. Not anymore against the Champions League winners. Arsenal looked good in the opening stages of the game. They looked quite threatening going forward, but it was just the final finish that they couldn't find. They kept getting deliveries into the box and had some shots on goal, but ultimately Chelsea got a grip on the game. And then Reece James down that right-hand side, as I said before, was absolutely lethal. Tierney was too focused on Lukaku, I believe, and trying to assist the centre-backs in defending Lukaku, who played his first game in the Premier League since returning, scored the first goal, looked really good. But yeah, I think it was all Reece James in that first half who was making all the issues for Arsenal. He got on the score sheet as well, so he should have. He was great, Reece James. Arsenal have lost the first 2 games of their season, and this week they head up to Manchester to play Manchester City at home. So all signs are good for Arsenal. You're doing well, Arsenal. Who do I think is going to win that game? Obviously, Man City. I think Man City are going to absolutely smack the Gunners, unfortunately. Another massive game in Liverpool-Chelsea this week, and it's at Liverpool. It's going to be a tough test for Chelsea, given how good Liverpool looked on the weekend against Burnley, because, as I said, they just controlled the game. So if Liverpool can control the ball, then it's going to be hard for Chelsea to get out on the counter. You can't really counter-attack Liverpool with Virgil van Dijk in that side. I think he's just such a good anchor in that defence. I think the biggest players in this game for Chelsea are going to be their defensive midfielders, just pressing up on the fullbacks to block the avenues that they have down the wings and getting balls into the box. It's going to be a good game. Who do I predict to win? I just see this being a draw. Probably a 0-0 draw, because these are 2 great sides of the competition, and often in these big games they just cancel each other out, but yeah, you never know. And then the last game, Sunday night, Wolves versus Manchester United, and Wolves have always been a side that United have found tricky to beat. Although we did beat them 2-1 on the last game of the season last year, it was sort of a nothing fixture. Our season was done. We played some of the youth in that game, got up 2-1, but it just had no impact on the results of the season. But we've only beaten Wolves once in our last 8. So that tells you how good Wolves are as a side. They've got a new manager, so I'm going to be keeping a close eye on how they play compared to they did under Nuno. And I'll be keeping an especially close eye on Ruben Neves, who apparently is up for sale potentially. And that is a position that United really need. I really like Ruben Neves. I said that in my season predictions, how I'd love him at United. And we'll see how good he is and what having a good defensive midfield in front of your defence and behind your attacking midfielders can do for a side. We'll see that on Sunday against Wolves. I think United at the back looked pretty sloppy against Southampton. Harry Maguire lost the ball. And I think it was Charlie Armstrong for Southampton was through on goal straight away. Force a good save on De Gea, so I think we need to bring Varane in to shore up that back line, get Lindelof out, who has been good, to be fair to him, Lindelof, but I mean, Varane is just world class, and I think we need to go Greenwood up top with Sancho, Pogba, Bruno behind them, and then probably McTominay and Fred. I'm not huge on Matic in that midfield at all. It's very hard to win away at Wolves. They play some good football, have a lot of attacking threat, and they're solid at the back as well. So I could very well see this going against United as a draw or a loss, but I'll back United in. I'll predict us to win this game 3-1. So there you have it. Drewzy United is back with a mild pop. So I'm going to be doing this every week. I'll be going through the fantasy league, how I went in fantasy that week, shout out the top of the league in the fantasy before going through what happened last week to United and the big results, and then previewing the big games the next week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like, drop a sub. Make sure you guys comment down below what your predictions are for the games on the weekend. Let me know how your guys' teams are going, and yeah, thank you very much. Get in the comments down below, like the video. I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe as well, that's important. Take care. You Plonkers!